Game 1 Eastern Conference Finals, not as you drew it up. Should we rip the Band-Aid off? Florida punked them a bit.
Call it what it is. We all feel it.
We're all intelligent individuals here, right? We all watched the same game. We had the same feelings. We looked around to the people we were with and asked the same questions. Why didn't Aho shoot that? It was one of the first ones. And then it led to, what happened there? Led to, that's not a good penalty to take. Led to, did Shane Gostisbehere just shoot that puck at Marchand 100 feet away from the goal?
Yeah, he did.
We all had the same questions. Don't lie to yourself, okay? There's a spectrum here of reactions to Game 1. On one side, I'm going to call it the self-liars. On the other side, I'm going to call it the chicken littles. You don't have to be on either side. Don't lie to yourself and sit there and say that losing Game 1 at home in that way isn't a big deal. It is a big deal. It absolutely is a big deal, especially with the history between these two teams, especially with the history between the Canes and more specifically Bobrovsky, especially with all of the narratives and everything that you are now going to have to deal with for another game. It is a big deal. So don't lie to yourself and say it's not. That's one end of the spectrum, the self-liars. Don't be the chicken little. Don't run around after one loss and start pulling this core will never win. The system doesn't this. Rod Brind'Amour is now 0-for-8 in the Stanley Cup Conference Finals. Oh, they're now on a 13-game losing streak. Woe is me, woe is me, woe. You can't be 24 hours ago talking about how this team has a different vibe and then 24 hours into the future talk about how I don't care about the vibe. They're going to pay for the sins of all previous teams. You have to be somewhere in the middle. The series is not over. It's more difficult. And there is a big difference there. It is a big deal. It's not a done deal. There is a big difference there. We would all feel a lot better if they would just win the game on Thursday. And that's where the focus has to go. And to the Canes' credit, and I will give them their due, they do seem to stay even keel through highs and lows. Other than what they're saying, a lot of times at the post-game pressers, you wouldn't know what the result was because they're going to be them regardless. And we'll start with the Jacob Slavin cut here, Dennis, from today, actually, not from post-game, about the past being the past and the losing streak and how none of that is a factor for this year's team.
The past is the past. I mean, we got to focus on tomorrow night right now, and I don't think you can ever let that become a factor because I don't think it has a role to play in what we have to accomplish moving forward. At least that's the way I think about it. And I mean, media might portray it as one thing, but for us in the room, we got to just focus on what's ahead and focus on the next game. And so, I mean, if you want to go, 4 of those losses came in 2009. None of us were on that team. So, I mean, right? And so that's
the last 5 against the same team.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been in every game so far, maybe besides last night, right? And so we've had chances to win. It's just bearing down and getting the wins because obviously we need them right now.
It is so tempting to get into a actually off, like it's like a dance off or a sing off, like a actually off, because it's not simple. I mean, just right there, right? You're going to talk about the losing streak. Slavin says, well, 4 of those losses came in 2009. None of us were – I was in high school at that point, to give you some kind of context, right? And then what is the response? Well, actually, 5 of them now are with almost this identical core. Well, actually, right? You can go back and forth a million times on that. And that's why – we talked about it yesterday. Just getting the win to end those conversations would have been huge. You didn't do it, so you got to deal with it for another 2 days. You got to deal with the 0-for-13s. You got to deal with the Florida has now beaten you 5 straight times in the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to deal with it. You have to. You got to wear it. I talk about it all the time. To the victor goes the spoils, and after Game 1, Florida's the winner. They get the trash talk. They get the last word. They get the mic drop. Put the shoe on the other foot. Remember at the beginning of the second round series of Stanley Cup playoffs? Canes went to Washington, dominated the game, won game one. What did we feel like, right? I came on, the first thing I said into this microphone the next day was, if this series goes longer than 5, something went wrong. That's how the sports radio hosts in South Florida feel right now. It's very similar. That's what you're up against. That's what you're up against. Now, how do you respond? Right? If you want to tout Canes culture, if you want to tout how you have the right guys, if you want to hype up all the people and the work ethic and the unselfishness and everything else, this is where you have to show it. You don't go up into your turtle shell and run away because, it feels like last time. You come out and you play harder in game 2. Rod Brind'Amour spoke to the media about that Eastern Conference Finals losing streak because he's going to be asked about it 1,000 times until it ends. Here's Rod.
Well, you're going to talk about it, and you guys are going to say it, but what do you want to do? You're going to change your game? That's not going to work. I know it doesn't work. I know that you could try to go there and open up and start risking or doing different things. It's not going to be the answer. So, yeah, I hear you. We go over it over and over. How are we going to create more scoring chances and give up less? That's the game. That's what you're trying to figure out to do. And, I just mentioned to you the start of how we have to do it. It's just attention to the details and not, giving the freebies. So for me, we gave 2 freebies the last game. And you take those off the board, now we're in a game. And that's what we just have to find a way to do.
Speaking of tempting, right? It's tempting to get into a actually off. It's really tempting to play the game Rod was flirting with right there. Matter of fact, what was it? Going into the third period, Dennis and I did it on Media Row at the game. If you take away about 4 plays, this is a completely different game.
It's true, though.
It is, but that's the nature of playoff hockey.
Yeah.
They
all count.
And I always go with, all right, if we're giving you 4 mulligans, you have to give the other team 4 mulligans. And if you take away, if you let Florida take away 4 plays, you might be right back where you start, right? You're not the only team that gets the time machine and gets to go back and do it. Rod is right? You gave him a couple freebies. That's part of the game. That's part of the story. In a lot of ways, I like it when the mistakes are obvious. I like it when the mistakes are like big decisions that are wrong because you don't have to spend a lot of time diagnosing the problem. You just get straight to work on fixing it. And I think they could get straight to work on fixing a lot. I think you could get right to work on fixing a lot. And I'll put it there has to be some kind of intimate knowledge that the Canes have as far as so much of what the Panthers, when the Panthers are playing well, Florida Panthers, when they're playing well, so much of what they do is what the Canes do when they're playing well. So you just to be a thief, you have to, or to catch a thief, you have to think like a thief, right? That's what they tell. I don't know. That's what they tell cops in movies. Kind of that deal. What do we hate? All right, let's do that to them, right? You have to think like the people that really put a wrench in your system and do that to them. So there has to be some intimate knowledge on this adjustment going into game 2. What were you hoping the Caps didn't do to you going into game 2 last series? Do that. Do that. I'm not running around here saying the sky is falling. I'm not turning on Rod Brind'Amour because of a couple decisions I disagreed with. I'm not turning on this core. I'm not turning on Aho because he didn't pull the trigger and shoot that 2-on-1 early on, which could have sparked a whole different game. I'm not turning on it, but I am also not downplaying it. That game was important, and you lost. You've made it more difficult for yourself. You've made your bed. Now you have to lay in it. You have to go win one, at least one on the road. And there's a whole host of people that would say tomorrow is a must-win. I need more time. We'll decide tomorrow if we're putting the must-win stamp on it. I don't take that lightly.